What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review for Attack on Titan, the final season. This is episode 20, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Well, we're pretty much taking a break with all the action after, what happened in the last, 3 episodes since the new season started. We're pretty much like sent back, I guess, of the past, thanks to Zeke sending Eren back to view his father's memories in a way to convince Eren that he's been brainwashed by Grisha, and just like his father tried to do to him back in the past. However, over time things don't go the way Zeke thought might happen. The longer they stay in those memories.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because the whole point was Zeke trying to, I guess, undo Eren's brainwashing, but of course it ended up being him that was sort of convinced that his father wasn't as bad as he thought he was.
Yeah, I mean, he finds out that Eren's pretty much more or less lived a much more normal life than he did back when Grisha was still at home with him. But for Grisha, when he moved into the walls and had Eren as his son, he just lets Eren lets Eren be Eren. I mean, despite the fact that other than that incident where Eren saved Mikasa from the bandits a while back, he's just pretty much let Eren be himself the entire time throughout the first 9 years of his life.
Yeah, and I mean, I think in the beginning of the episode, Zeke was obviously more resentful of his father once he saw these memories, because he saw that he treated Eren much differently than he treated him, and he wasn't really trying to brainwash Eren or anything like that. Yeah, of course, as things progress, he starts to see another side of Grisha, and he starts to see that also Grisha was very, he felt very guilty over what happened with Zeke.
Yeah, and also the fact that he initially wanted to go to initiate his plan to take the Founding Titan, but he's been pretty hesitant in trying to do so. He had the opportunity earlier on, but then he just stopped and then just went back home to his family. And then the longer things go on, we see Grisha writing the note on the photograph, and then pretty much setting things into motion to have give Eren the key into the basement. And there were at least several moments of the episode where Grisha notices both Zeke and Eren observing him through whatever means that they were doing, and of course Zeke and Eren also catch on to this as well.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna bring that up too, because I thought that was kind of interesting that that Grisha actually, I guess, senses their presence as they're kind of looking back on looking on Grisha's past memories. And it was also interesting too, just seeing some of the scenes we've already seen in the previous seasons, just kind of reanimated by Mappa, and just seeing a different angle to them. Especially, I mean, because we have the scene with where, of course, when Eren first meets Mikasa and he kills her abductors, and we kind of see we sort of see that from a different perspective, because I guess we kind of see the aftermath of it, where Grisha is just kind of standing over the bodies, and Eren is basically telling, because of course Zeke believes that Eren is like the way he is due to brainwashing, but this is a way in which Eren basically also shows and also tells Zeke that I've pretty much always been this way. If somebody tries to take my freedom away, I'll basically kill them for it.
Yeah, and this pretty much goes on throughout the entire episode, and it finally.
I was
going
to point out too, where of course the other scene was we also see the scene where Grisha reveals the key to the basement, and I think this is another scene where Grisha also at least seems to notice Eren's presence as he's standing in front of him, and we also see a little bit more of the scene too, where after Grisha kind of walks away, that his expression and how we get more of a sense of how he was feeling in the moment.
Yeah, and and then it gets to the point where he goes back to the, what was it, the king's hideout, whatever that place was, and then it goes into the underground cavern and confronts Frida and her family, and basically he just goes in to warn them about the terrible things that are about to happen, and of course the power of the attack titan that he inherits. Supposedly that the whoever inherits the attack titan can view the future, or in a way like send a message from the future, or something.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of got a little bit of that in the part 2 of season 3 with Eren Kruger seeing, like, I guess Eren's memories of the future.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, and the fact that Kruger also mentions Armin and Mikasa, even though he doesn't know who they really are.
Yeah.
But of course that's, yeah, and then it but of course Frida of course doesn't refuses Grisha's pleas for help.
Well,
because
I don't know if it's necessarily Frida, because like as we know, she's also being possessed by the king of the walls or whatever. Like as a she's like, because her eyes change. I guess that means she's being possessed by the first king, as they call him. That he's basically he pretty much refuses to do anything because he wants the Eldians. He pretty much just wants the Eldians to die. I mean, because that's more or less what he says. Like he's not going to do anything about it because he feels like the Eldians should die for the atrocities of that they committed in the past. I guess that they should just be wiped out by the Marleyans.
Yeah, and it gets to the point where Grisha nearly goes over the edge and is about to, well, cut himself and transform into a Titan to I guess consume Frida and take her founding Titan abilities. But then all of a sudden he just stops in his tracks and refuses to do it because he doesn't want to go about killing children.
Yeah,
and that's of course this of course shocks Zeke to the point where this is not supposed to happen. Like the past can't just change so suddenly like this. And then all of a sudden, Eren steps in, and then and basically he just manipulates his father into killing Frida and the others to pretty much move things forward up to that point.
Yeah, this is probably like the biggest plot twist of the episode. And I mean, like, you know, I guess for non-manga readers, this is probably comes as a shock that they're able to kind of not only like view the memories of the past, but also to, I guess, manipulate events of the past as well. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, what else has Eren been manipulating this whole time? Like, I mean, how much of this was it was Eren? How much was Eren behind in terms of like what happened in the story? It really like makes you wonder that. But yeah, like, of course, Grisha attacks them, and this is kind of where we see the we didn't see this before. We see Grisha kind of leaving the scene and just kind of, I guess, struggling with the fact that he had to end up just brutally murdering children.
Yeah, he pretty much, he's just pretty much traumatized at that moment, and he asks, like, Eren, like, did I do the right thing? Is this what you really want? And then all of a sudden he finally sees Zeke, like, physically, like, and then just goes up to him and then embraces him, admitting that he was wrong to have treated Zeke the way that he did, that he should have been a better father to him instead of selfishly trying to manipulate him for his own goals.
Yeah, and I think it's in this moment where he basically tells Zeke, like, you need to stop Eren. And if we remember, Grisha mentioned that the Attack Titan can see the memories of future Attack Titans. So I'm kind of wondering if the reason why he said that was because maybe it's because Grisha saw the rumbling. He knows Eren is going to do, or I think that's probably what it is. He knows what Eren's going to do.
Yeah.
So, and of course, it's here where we just see, just, and Aaron's had a few of just these really like villainous kind of expressions throughout the whole episode, but like just him making this just really like angry face. We see just Aaron standing there, and it seems like Zeke is just kind of forced out of the, out of the memory, and back into the paths, where he's now just like kind of recoiling back and staring up at Aaron, who's still kind of chained up, and Aaron's just kind of looking down on him. So it's even when Aaron is, you know, in chains, he's still, I guess, in control of this whole situation. Like, so there's just been so many kind of like Uno reverse cards being pulled in this in the past episode and in this episode, because at the end of the last episode, you know, the whole twist was Zeke was the one who was in control. He was the one who kind of you know, kind of played Aaron in a way when Aaron thought he was playing him. And then it kind of just switched back around in this episode. Like by the end of this episode, it's like, you know, Zeke was the one who was actually being played the whole time. I just thought it was kind of funny. It's just kind of, just, yeah, like I said, going from just Zeke kind of betraying Aaron to Aaron just twisting that around again, and now it's like Aaron's the one who's just kind of, you know, it was all according to his plan, I guess.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good episode. Like, honestly, it felt like it went by really quickly. Just on how much like was displayed in this episode. But it's really interesting to see like that kind of twist, that Aaron is the one that has been manipulating events the entire time, and you have to wonder if like how much, like you said, how much else he's been manipulating even before these events, because. As you saw in the preview of the next episode, it's titled "From You 2,000 Years Ago."
Yeah, I mean, we did see some. In the episode preview, we saw some of Ymir. So I think that's probably going to be Ymir's backstory, because as we know, this is, as has been mentioned before in the series, that this has been going on for like the whole thing with the Titans, at least, has been going on for like 2,000 years, and that it all started with Ymir. So I think it's probably going to be mostly. The backstory of Ymir, and yeah, I mean, of course, Ymir herself is an interesting character. I won't really say anything about it because I, you know what happens in the manga, but yeah, it's gonna go some pretty interesting places. I'll just say that. I mean, it already kind of has, but I mean, it's just I won't spoil anything else, but yeah, I do agree. I thought this was a pretty good episode, and it went by pretty quick though. I mean, like every Sunday, it just seems like these go by really quick, because it's always just, it's, I mean, especially recently, it just has been, it felt like it's just been like one plot twist after another in the story. So I kind of wonder like what, you know, really like what's next. Even though honestly, I do kind of know what's next, but I guess I don't really know all the fine details. So interested to see what gets revealed. But yeah, like I speculated last week, it definitely was a more dialogue heavy episode, but it was actually like really interesting because of the revelations that we got. So yeah, I don't really, other than that, like, I mean, I don't really have too much else to say about it. There's not really too much else to go over. I mean, we don't really have any like, you know, any like really standout moments well, I guess you could say like some, in terms of its animation, there were like, you know, some scenes were pretty impressive, like with the facial animations and stuff, but there wasn't really like any sort of action or anything like that, as opposed to like some of the other episodes we've seen. But I mean, regardless of that, like, I mean, yeah, there's not really much else to say. It was it as batshit insane as the last episode? Not exactly, but it had like this, it still had like a kind of like an oh shit moment with that revelation that Aaron was kind of behind a lot of what happens, or at least what happened with Grisha.
Yeah, it was definitely an enjoyable episode, and I can't wait to see what happens next week. Considering like how things are literally going Aaron's way at this point.
Yeah. But yeah, so that all being said, until next Sunday, we will see you all next time.